I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Today, we're going to talk about how not prioritizing self-care is disrupting your relationships and leading to worse sex. And who wants that? So, there's two problems that I see with the women that I work with. One is the way we schedule our days. So we're overwhelmed, overworked, we are burnt out and exhausted. And the second thing is that when we operate like that daily and we're putting ourselves last on the to-do list, it's like the first thing to get wiped off the calendar is our workout, or, we'll cancel our massage because something came up with the kids, whatever the case may be. We're tight for a work deadline, but when we come from this place, we end up having two types of interactions, really anxious interactions or demanding interactions. And when we come from that place in a relationship, no one really wants to help you out when you're demanding things of them, or you're so anxious that you're needy. Does anyone find that they have that polarization where just if they get so overwhelmed, they end up demanding and they're sort of short and snappy? Or we go the other way where we're like weepy and needy and overwhelmed. So it's like one of two. Postpartum, I have been fluctuating between both, so we don't know what Jordin you're gonna get. So when we are overscheduled and overwhelmed and we're not prioritizing our self-care, we're at the bottom of the to-do list, we start showing up as anxious and needy in relationships. And this really disrupts our connection in relationships. So when that connection is disrupted, it puts the brakes on our libido, especially in long-term relationships. What happens is, if we're disconnected, we are not going to want to be intimate. And this is something that they don't teach us in sexual health education. It's something that they don't teach us about keeping the spark alive in long-term relationships, that we constantly need to be connecting and reconnecting to have great, mind-blowing sex that I know you all desire. And when we lose the connection, we lose it little bits over time, and then we end up in this rut. And it's a well-worn rut that's hard to get out of sometimes. But one way out of it is through self-care. And this is hard. It is hard for women to prioritize themselves and their needs. Oftentimes when I'm working with people for the first time and I'm saying, what do you do for yourself? What do you do for fun? What do you do that brings you joy? They can't answer. They can't answer. Or they're so frustrated because it's been so long that they've done something for themselves. We almost lose who we are. And no one wants to have sex when they're in that place. And no one wants to have sex with you when you're in that place. So this has been an interesting journey for me postpartum with my hormones and my sleep deprivation. I was coming from a place of need a lot, which I don't normally do, or that hasn't been in my repertoire since I was probably in my early 20s. And I was almost not recognizing myself or not recognizing how I was showing up in the relationship. But by being needy and clingy, what's the natural thing that's going to happen? Your partner's going to pull away. And same thing about being like demanding and assertive. like, or not assertive, that's the wrong word. Assertive would be a good way to be, but to be demanding and hypercritical and snappy, same thing. Instead of getting the help you need, you're pushing your partner away. So we love the Snow White thing, where the fairy tale thing, where we're waiting for our prince or our partner to read our minds, to fix it, to know or kind of intuit what we need. That's not going to happen. And that's definitely not going to happen if you're coming from a place of burnout, overwhelm, need, demanding. So one of the best places that we can start is work on ourselves and with self-care. So let's talk a little bit about what that looks like, or what the ideal kind of self-care is for better sex. I had the best self-care routine before COVID and before having my daughter, and I'll tell you about it in a second. But I feel like since having her and COVID, I have not really like found my self-care groove again. And I really want to, for this year of my life, get my self-care routine dialed again, because I miss it and I'm sick of cycling between needy and demanding. It doesn't feel like me. It doesn't feel good. And I know that filling myself up and being there for myself will make a difference. So I used to bookend my week with yoga at this amazing gym where they had a steam room and I could get a smoothie with like everything that I wanted in it. So that would start my Monday on the right foot, and it would end my week on a Friday on the right foot. And I would get my nails done in there, and I would work out or do pole dancing at some point, like each time during the week, like other days during the week. So I'd work out 4 times or move my body 4 times. Body movement is essential to not only decreasing the overwhelm and having happy hormones and endorphins so you feel good, but it's also essential to having better sex, better circulation, which, you think that it wouldn't make a difference, but it does. So whatever your self-care practice is going to be, if you want better sex, it's going to have to incorporate moving your body. At least 3 or 4 times a week, I would be getting in the bath with a really good book or listening to a podcast that I loved. And now that I have moved into this in-between house because of COVID, my other house build got stalled because of COVID. And I now share a bathtub with my daughter and my stepchildren. It's just not great to want to clean that and then get in it. That doesn't feel like self-care anymore. So I sincerely miss my bath time. But that's another way, like things that you can do to kind of relax, soothe your nervous system. All of those things are going to turn down the overwhelm, turn down that stress response so you can get turned on. And then if you are turning yourself on, then it's not up to your partner. You're not going to your partner looking to be needy. You're already there, or you're already part of the way there. So it's so much easier to have that connection when you're coming from a place that is filled up your cup. I miss our pole dancing. I used to pole dance with my whole team before COVID. Thursday nights, pole dancing, and then wine. It was amazing. We will be doing some hiring in the near future if anyone's looking for a job. And you like pole dancing and wine, you're going to want to join us. That's another thing. My pole is not installed in this house. And can you hear the excuses? Like, oh, this house, it's this in-between house. But also, I need to pull my own head out of my butt and say, I don't care if my pole only goes up for 4 months. That's 4 months that it's installed and I'm using it. So my point being, no more excuses, ladies. Let's prioritize our self-care and filling up our own cups so that we can go into our relationship with overflowing energy of abundance, not of lack, of need, of resentment. And it starts with us, and it can be simple little things like going out for a walk, doing a meditation, having a coffee. But one thing that I would definitely recommend in your self-care practice is body movement of some kind. You need to be moving your body. My goddess cards. This is my daily little practice that I start my day reading my goddess cards, and it always puts me in the right headspace to get started and work with my clients and really show up how I need to show up. So things that make you still, being things, and then things that move your body, doing things. And if we can incorporate both of those, then that is when your stress response is going to turn down and your libido is going to turn up. I know information on how to improve libido is really hard to come by. Accurate information, things that actually work. Because trust me, maca is not going to fix your libido. Maca, or like any, herbal supplements. Some people just say, oh, well, is there this one supplement that's going to fix my libido? No, there isn't, because there's no supplement that's going to fix needy and weepy and demanding, because you haven't learned to prioritize yourself. You haven't learned to set boundaries. You haven't prioritized a self-care routine. So if there was a little pink pill, I would give it to you. But there isn't. What there is the Pleasure Mindset Bootcamp live event, April 12th to 15th, 12 p.m. Eastern every single day. Put it in your calendars. Have a great week, everybody.
If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.